Okay. Yeah. Yes, this is my video number 42.
Gary?
Yes.
Oh. I didn't know where you were.
And yeah, we are in a classroom. Identical likewise to In God We Trust. I've been invited by the government to a classroom, third grade classroom, and we're not going to disclose where. All the voices of the children have been muted. It only picks out my voice and me. On the government is over there, likewise to the principle of In God We Trust. And they're going to tell me if I say anything that can't be said, and then we'll have to reverse it. I've got, I didn't want to do an English accent, so I've got long hair and a beard and gray highlights in it to give you the feeling of God. And I'm here to teach all you kids today, just like In God We Trust. The government has allowed us now, right? Don't bump the camera here. Hang on a second. Did they bump it? Okay. We're good. Yeah. Third graders aren't too, you know, not quite intelligent. The camera's sitting on the front desk because I didn't bring the camera pod. And let's see what we've got here. Now, Gomper. Oh, that's not the one. Okay. First of all, we have the children divided in this the classroom here. And so you'll have the white male here, the white female here, and the black and Mexican Indian in the middle, because I'm going to talk about some things that give you a choice. Gomper. Oh, that's not okay. It's what the special. Special. All right, Taylor. All right. This is the special kids. Okay. Why, you're not special? Okay. Interesting fact about special people that don't, let's go ahead and say it. Can I say it? They're really seen as not quite as good as other people, not quite as bright. The mind actually has a little more chance to be intelligent than the so-called bright kids that are up with it and full of ability to take in. Well, that's a computer and it's not a big deal. The government is finally allowing me to begin teaching likewise to In God We Trust. Begin teaching the grade school kids because the adults can only throw their mouth open and argue. And I've got a lot of information. I have an Arizona shirt on, Squapica. It's her name. Okay, you will disregard that. Yes, is that an eagle feather? Okay. No, I don't like them either. They look at you like they're trying to find something wrong with you. Yeah. So why did the Indians want Phoenix? It's not inhabitable. All right, what do they call that, Julio? Is it Mexico Phoenix or Phoenix Mexico? Mexico. All right. You can have it, except my house. I've got a lot to talk about, and we're going to have a good day today. Simple things. We've got to kids to learn opposites, so we're taking them in. And you're going to learn the opposites.
Gary.
And you're going to make decision by it. And I want all of you to consider that. I'm working with a guitar right now.
Gary.
So I will be done later.
Gary, let me in.
And
I want to ask you something.
so I want all of you kids to listen and realize that you've got a long way to go, but your parents can't do it. Your children, the police are the barbarians, and we've got a constitution. It reads exactly like a Monopoly game. I feel like I'm reading words to a game. You've got the most outrageous fiction book ever written. Gods, devils, heavens, hell, evil spirits being put in a swine to run away. You've got a lot of things going on. A man that turns into a serpent, a man that comes back to life again. You've got angels, fallen angels, a virgin. I am here to present to you for the very first time. There is evidence. First of all, you need to understand that Jesus was not a son of God. That was made up. And you've got to learn. I'm going to teach you motive today is 100% of reality. When you have a motive, you do things. You don't do things without a motive. It's 100% of reality. And I want everyone to consider what is the motive for reading this particular amazing fiction book. And we're going to go over the fiction. I am not teaching religion here. I am teaching what is real. I am not here to preach to you, children. And I want to explain how important I am. As I was coming back to Colorado, heading west on the I-70 on December 14 of 2019, coming back to a copyright on this book, all evidence is if it's going by the rotation of the earth, the plane coming from China, and all the information we have is all that the coronavirus came from a lab in China. And I'm teaching reality. Coincidence? No. This is a book that the government does not want out. And the government knew very well. They had signed paperwork of when I would be coming back to Colorado. The information I have, 5 Chinese people diagnosed from a ski resort in 200 miles from Gary, York. And it's been said, yeah, the Corona-19, it was diagnosed roughly 2 weeks later, just on time to be in 19, not in 2020. But it's been said that it was sent over to disrupt the Democrat-Republican elections. They didn't like, the Chinese people didn't like Trump is what's being said. Now, to keep it simple for third graders, there's another angle of that. This book is a very important book that would help to end in my teaching also, but this gives you some of my background. And I'll tell you kids a little more and then play a song for you and we'll get you under recess. About a half hour. The barbarians 2,022 years ago murdered Jesus. We have that in this book. And based on a true story, there's some truth. First of all, the connotation that Jesus and Lucifer were very amazing people. There was something very large different about Jesus and Lucifer. But what was it? Well, 60 years later, I'm going to try and cut this real short. And 60 years later, I have enough evidence to end Christianity by replacing it with the truth of what really happened. Motive is 10/10 of reality. Christianity is the only thing giving your police officers credibility. The concept that somebody else knows your business and you have to play their game or else they have to punish you is fantastic. It is crazy. And that book is the craziest fiction ever written. I have the dictionary here. This is where I got this out of. Okay, there were 4 definitions in this Webster's College Dictionary of fiction. And this is what I was doing. Now, I am going to go over the tough issues of the times with you kids. Now, what is the big issue of the day here? So, yes, Taylor.
Hey, I found that pizza mix, and I want to know if you wanted to make that.
Oh, I'll be out in a little bit. I'm going to play the guitar for a while and then I'll be out.
All right.
So, a lot of confusion in the classroom, a lot of people around. What, Taylor? You're going to have a butt baby? Why? I see why. Yes, I already noticed that. And what I'm here for is to change that. Women's liberation was a very bad idea, and the government did a very bad thing throughout the entire world. The part we saw in America, they murdered Kennedy, they gave you 10 years of Vietnam War, the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, the oil embargo to basically quadruple the gas price in order to subsidize all the mess that they're making. And they did the same thing now. This is August 25 of 2022. And they did the same thing, the same sequence. History repeats itself. And they did the same sequence recently. And jack up the price of gas, and magically, of course, you have inflation. These are very, very simple things that are very, very blatant. Your government shoots up the price of gas, then everything is evolving around gas in America and around the world, and inflation. You have to raise your price because you run out of money to worship the gas pump. In other words, the government. And what Jesus and Lucifer were teaching was truth and honesty. What your kids' parents are doing, and I've pretty much given up on them. You need to help them. Say, Mommy and Daddy, what God? Yeah, you're working on being the first to have a butt baby. Yeah, that's what we heard on Christian radio in the Bible Belt, that over in California or somewhere, they got the grade school kids deciding what gender they want to be, and they're putting you on a very, very wrong track. And I'll tell you how they did it. I just explained how they broke down the American people, plus drugs and song. And then they rendered the men helpless with women's liberation, or zero tolerance assault law. And they could not begin to defend against women's liberation. The women were ruining the family, the finances, everything themselves, and no feeling. And the reason why is history. And you've got to look at history, look at history, look at history. Because it keeps repeating itself. They had women throughout history, that all recorded history, and that's where I'm getting it from, and I'm willing to take in more information. The woman was a slave to the man. And then we had Helen Reddy singing, "I am woman, hear me roar." And you're looking at a pretty person that everyone is respecting on the TV screen. She was looking good. Correctly shaped body, correct tan, looking attractive, singing that song. And they had no idea that it was going to be the 800-pound gorilla, red, white, and blue, and tattooed, that you were actually going to end up doing, what you ladies were going to end up doing. And no feelings whatsoever. That's why you guys are not seeing any feeling in the girl. Because they're identical throughout history. The government was quite amazed that they were able to, with simple psychological sequence, on a worldwide scale, segue the slavery from the husband that had good intentions for the woman over to the TV set that had very, very bad intentions for the woman. And the woman never shed a tear because the woman was not doing anything different. She was a slave to the man, which had good intentions collectively. I'm saying the big picture, the man had good intentions. It's not logical not to. The TV had bad intentions because the government is destroying, feeding the carnage. And that's what Christianity was all about. Nobody on the earth has ever seen it. I've got a pair of glasses here that were got for me, and I'm not going to explain it. I put them on, and I shrink lower and lower. It's happening now. I feel 3 feet tall with these glasses on. And I'm seeing things in angles like this. And there's a very interesting freak show. But my mind perceives things different. I've asked a dozen or more people to look through these glasses. They cannot see what I see in these. And apparently my mind is different. I've been studying organized crime investigating since January 9 of this year, 2022. And with huge move forward and still moving forward. There's a lot to be learned. But I need to get it on TV and get our police officers talking. Why were they so attentive to Gary York? And the only way that I could ask them is that I know the answer. A genealogist studied, we've got a relative on the same side of my family, 1901 to 1909. And what this story is, his throat was cut and he was taught to sing a government song as he was dying of infection. The books say something a little different. Scarlet fever Well, we're also hearing stories about things being diagnosed as coronavirus death when people were sick to begin with. And yeah, so you got your genealogy recorded. You go to the places where they would have the records, and maybe it's on the internet now and whatnot, but 30 years ago you would go to the town or whatever, look into it, but they let his brother live. But when his brother had a son, the 1939 to 1946. He was murdered, kicked in the spine is the story we're hearing. And the genealogy on that, we're hearing the family story, and they may be more correct. I have not heard anything of what's publicly recorded on that. He was kicked in the spine and apparently sent to a hospital and died in the hospital. 8 years old, down to 7 years old. When I took the test going into first grade, I'm going to go ahead and say it because the evidence is there, that now the government's sure. And I think they were stalking me because of my relatives. And we only know back to 1900, the beginning of 1900, and we don't know back. Yeah, they began doing head beatings, so severe that I could not sleep for a year at a time, but they kept me alive. And here again, that TV was the interesting fact in that. And so I think that's why they kept me alive, and no one can hear me. You can hear the TV. The TV says, hey, you've got to watch an overweight man feeding overweight raccoons. And immediately they've got 1 million views. People are pushing that button and watching it again and again and again. Because you're hypnotized. And it is a very simple way of doing things. They exhaust you. They baffle you. And now you belong to them, your mind. And that's why the women never shed a tear, as they're tearing the whole world apart for all these, their children, their husband, their own self, the finances, their families. Families can't be together now because things go out further and further. When women are divorcing the men, it goes out further. The situation now, they're getting big monies for retirement homes or hospices for the old people because they can't stand their own selves, they can't stand their family. And I'm asking you to try friendship, try seeing yourselves as all one unit. Now, this lie that white is black, is Mexican, is Indian, is boy, is girl, is wrong. It is an instead of. And I want all of you to think about that. The special about Jesus and Lucifer, and I very recently heard Jesus and Lucifer, a Baptist preacher conveyed to his daughter the information maybe they were brothers. Jesus and Lucifer, there's nothing in the Bible to ever indicate that anything that they did was wrong. And same here. I've never done anything wrong in my life. I've been attacked at both my homes. They did a 9/11 event on me. They did a January 6th insurrection with a SWAT team. And that'll be brought up next month. I'll be heading back to Phoenix area. And bringing out these members of the SWAT team and having them explain what they did and go from there. But I want to keep things very simple, or I'd be talking for months and you would all fall asleep. So wake up. Yeah, and so anyway, yeah, see me as your special one. Your Bible has a date on it, a time limit, and then the end shall come. It's got a time limit on it. This is a timed religion. It is not a forever religion. You have Vulcan, Thor. You acknowledge that you use the term mythology to connotate that it is not true. Star Wars, Planet of the Apes, you read that, fiction. Now, you're deciding whether to try to have a butt baby, and you can't have one with a woman because they hate you. And they're ugly. They look terrible. Yes, you have to identify your circumstances in order to fix them, and it's true. What Helen Reddy was singing was a lie. And yeah, you ended up with that. And very disturbing situations. You've got to carry ketchup packets with you, and you're practicing playing dead for the riflemen coming in the classroom. And these are all results that your police department wants, because it's their job security, destroying, feeding the carnage. And when Jesus and Lucifer were teaching, Lucifer said, "Eat that apple," and Eve ate that apple. Well, nobody has ever interpreted the blatant, in your face, can't see the forest for the trees. Well, I do. I can't see correctly out of these glasses, and other people can. Everyone else, which is rather interesting. But my mind works correctly, and apparently correctly, to the situation there. Don't screw with my eyes, but eat the apple. Well, Lucifer was talking to Eve. First of all, he appeared to Eve as a serpent. Well, no, he didn't. That is blatantly a lie that the author is telling you to promote a connotation. He wants you to think that Lucifer is bad, when in fact there is nothing, no evidence to decide by. And that's what I'm here today. All evidence, which is connotation. Lucifer was the highest angel closest to God. Jesus was the Son of God. And God is supposed to be the definition of good. It says, "In God we trust." There's a T right there too. "In God we trust." And Jared Loughner complained about that. He went off the gold standard in America and went on the "putting God we trust" on the money in a similar time frame. I'm not sure which came first, but it doesn't really matter. It's a similar time frame in history. And all of you need to understand what are the other things you're concerned about? Cyberbullying, and I'm not, because I see things in a different way. When you're good at things, it really only means that you practice. Somebody's good at acting pretty, doing good things. Well, they practiced, and they had some genes, and the people around them went along with it. Enjoy them, is what I saw. Gee, I don't have to do that because somebody else is. And I want you to consider that.
Are you going to make any more donuts?
Not today.
Well, should I leave that oil?
Leave the oil. Yeah, there's a lot going on in the classroom, but it is nice here again that the government is allowing me to teach you what you've never been taught before. You have never practiced, and your parents have never practiced. Taking in information that contradicts other information you have. And here again, by the principle of, the same principle as in God we trust, likewise in God we trust, the government has allowed me to teach in this class today. Very nice. But you kids have a wonderful agenda that I have for you, and I've got videos out. This is number 42, Real Psychology. Some people say they have to put a dot after psychology and then Gary York in order to get to bring it up on YouTube. But these videos are excellent. One's 5.5 minutes, excellent video. One is 2 hours and 21 minutes, excellent video. And that one I suggest that you don't have to look at my picture too often, but enjoy it while you're working around the house, while you're doing things, and listen to these videos, because it does look like you don't have a second coming of somebody that died on the cross for the sins of the world. That is obvious to me, blatant. That is your police force. There's an advertisement 2022 years ago for your police force. That is still happening. History merely repeats. And you've got game psychology now, and I'm asking you to do real psychology, which is what Jesus and Lucifer did. And Lucifer was going to and fro in the world. I'm guessing he had a little more money than Jesus did. If they were brothers, as the daughter of a Baptist preacher told me, it's been suggested they're brothers, maybe, and even more likely relatives of some sort, blood relatives of some sort. And I'd like to do some genealogy going back even further than the beginning of 1900. And the song that I'm about to sing here, I can say some of these words, the way you play your game. The black people can say some of them. Yeah, I gave you kids this song, and you can sing along. It won't be on the recording. We won't identify any of you. And I hope you go home, ask your mom and dad, but God, and see what they say, and go from there. And then watch my videos, because it'll tell you what to do next. They will lie around in a circle, or maybe say nothing, get angry, who knows. But that's your start. What God? And no one on the earth ever thought about it. But as I told the genealogist, I said, yes, I'm black, so vote for me. But I said, because my father had Stephen Johnson's disease when he was a teenager. He had part of a lung removed. He had blood transfusions, according to him, from a black man. And his hair turned black and very tight, curly, kinky, whatever you'd want to say. Gee, that makes me some black blood, because he had me afterwards. But I told that one to the genealogist. Yeah, I'm black, so vote for me for the presidency. And she said that was a worst mess of genealogy she'd ever heard of. And she's been looking it over for 30 years and more, probably, going different places. And I said, oh, hell no. Hell no. This is the worst crap of genealogy that anybody has ever heard of. The most amazing story of genealogy. A virgin born the Son of God on a bale of hay. Died for the sins of the world. That is beyond everything the worst BS. I can't say the word, so I have to say S, F. The N word is what this song is about. And you'll like it. You kids can sing along, and I won't do too good a job of it, but I want you to take in all your information. What doesn't match this information, that's your new job now, is to take all of it in. And but I have a song for you. I teach how to how to play a guitar in a very simple manner, just as I teach real psychology and what your government wants you to keep doing, which is game psychology. Because if you advance out of a monopoly game, religion and law, they won't be necessary. And here's how to tune it. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're supposed to match. Those are close. I'm tone deaf, so I would have to crank them up and down. They're not right on, but this one goes to the 4th one for some reason. That's not right. So I took a chance and made it go higher, because your guitar string, if you got one off, it's probably too low somehow. And because that's how they tend to get off. You have one that's too low, it got bumped or just worked its way down lower. They don't tend to tighten themselves up. And so I'll sing this song, and you black kids can say there's 2 words in here that us black people can say, but the white people and Mexican, Indian cannot. What feather is that? I didn't know buzzards had feathers. All right. Did buffalo ever fart while they were running them off the cliff? Yeah, you had some stories about that, huh? Yeah, they're ruining the ozone layer. Is that another one you kids are about here? The world is falling apart. Crazy land, frightful global warming. According to what history says, New York used to be a glacier. Now it's some buildings that the friends of the FBI are flying into. You need to look at that. The Great Lakes were supposedly plowed out by glaciers. Global warming. I'm not saying that's a problem. You got your catalytic converters. Take it easy with going electric, but do it. Yeah, have some fun at it, but you got a real problem with batteries. Be better people. You have no idea that this sheetrock behind me will last millions of years, because what you do is you multiply it. 35 years old, did it deteriorate at all? And the answer is no. So you multiply it that way by the level of deterioration in a certain point. And there's a lot of math and psychology. So what does it actually do? 35 years, nothing. 2 million years is going to be also nothing. It's going to be here 2 million years and nobody knows that. You've got to get your brains right. This is your critical moment, or you're going to be destroying all the buildings. And they're showing us Ukraine on TV destroying the buildings. And we got Putin and Biden both ending in because they're both in bed together. Your government is a worldwide, I learned that for sure, around 2008, 2009, when the housing market collapsed. And I had a disciple telling me what was causing the collapse, and it was blatant, and it was bound to collapse. It was made to collapse. And then we heard it happened worldwide. They were doing the same thing. And when they broke down the people in the 60s to women's liberation, it was a worldwide event. Your government is a worldwide criminal against all of you. And I suggest that you watch your old Dateline shows and whatnot, and learn, start looking at it with a different mind frame. You're going to see a lot different thing than what they intend you to see on that. I'm not going to elaborate now. The Bob Crane thing. He was, maybe look him up. He was murdered right at ground zero on the earth of organized crime. In other words, dirty government, Maricopa County, Arizona. They slapped the camera tripod on the bed to make it more glamorous and beat him with it. Be a very comfortable instrument. I wish I had the camera tripod for that, but the kids haven't bumped it yet. Good. You kids are doing just fine here, and all of you are awake too. You're listening to me. And I'm trying to teach on your level, and I think it's working. But
Gary,
yes, I hear you.
I called Brenda. She and her husband had eaten the night before in a restaurant, and she had very hard cramps in her stomach. She thought she might have food poisoning.
Okay.
So, but today she can't come over. So
Okay.
she'll probably come over one day next week.
Well, that's wonderful.
Hey Gary, please come out. I worry about you.
Okay. Now, so many interruptions. I'm gonna play the guitar a bit, and then I'll be out.
All right.
Yes. Okay, class. I put this on here, the strings buzz. So you put this on, it gives it a little different sound. Very nice. I'll sing this one for you, and you kids can sing along. There are 2 words that only us black people can sing. And they put a cuff on the wall, 'cause inside were some African American men. It was easy to hear that favorite word repeated over and over again. Now off to the bar to talk it up loud. It's the N-word is only made to offend. But wait a minute, officer of the law. The N-word is the black man's friend. You took the N-word from the black man to nigga, and my nig just won't quite do, because the N-word is the funnest word to say. N-word, every day. N-word is the funnest word to say. Sure, you put out welfare and cheapest coffee blonde, Saturday night special, and the whole damn place to run. You can keep your sexy Jesus. Give us back our N-word. Stop this craziness today. Because the N-word is the funnest word to say. N-word, 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 every day. N-word, N-word, N-word is the funnest word to say. Ah, lovely. I had a black friend in Phoenix, and organized crime had me see him again, and I'm going to say it that way. If it's not true, I'm investigating, so I'm going to find out. I'm investigating some of the murders in Maricopa County, things going on in Gila County in Arizona. In other words, the Phoenix area, Scottsdale, Paradise Valley, Payson, Globe. But anyway, it does look like I was set up to see my friend again, my black friend. And he said his girlfriend fell and hit her head and died. And I'm going, maybe because he was my friend and because he was living in North Phoenix. And maybe the bigger part of it was because he was my friend. I had a black employee. They said, no, he's Indian, he's Jamaican. He wore his dreadlocks, the beanbag chair, and Bell Road and 40th Street, Whataburger. No, we have no hamburgers for you. Apparently because I was with my black friend. We went to another Whataburger. Not the same day, but on the course of, I did landscape maintenance 30 years down there. Come in with my friend, no, we're not going to serve you. That was just south of Cactus Road and 32nd Street. Burger King. I hope I didn't say something else. I might have. My mind has got a lot of damage from what has been done to me over the years. But Burger Kings, 2 of them, no, we won't serve you. And apparently because I was with a black man. And the one, his girlfriend fell and hit her head and died. I'm going to be looking into that. I'm going down back to the Phoenix area next month, and this is August 25th again, 2022, and I'm going to be back in Phoenix again, looking into things. This is the type of people, and your Phoenix police were right in the middle of partners in many of these events, and so we're going to look into the Phoenix police and then go from there, see what we got, Joe Arpaio, see what we got down there, bring it out to you on the TV so that you can respect it. And now that you know where women's liberation came from, you got a long way to walk back to zero when you walked the wrong direction 1,000 years, ladies. And here again, now you guys finally know why they never shed a tear, never had any remorse. Because they never realized that the man was a good man telling the woman what good things to do, and the woman followed his lead, which is called a slave. And then the government segued it over through psychological and physical happenings to destroy people, and murder is just a big part of that. The Bob Crane murder, they flaunted that they had plenty of evidence in the rental car that there was of who murdered Bob Crane, and the Maricopa County government refused to refused to question the man, which is not legal, but it shows you that the government was involved in murdering Bob Crane. And 13 years later, they brought it to trial and refused to bring the evidence. And any prosecutor, attorney that would watch that video worldwide, including all of America, any judge would see that what their goal was to give this guy immunity through double jeopardy law. They give him a fake trial, which is not legal, and then he's immune to going to trial anymore, even though it was a murder, by double jeopardy laws. And Maricopa County is, we're going to be looking into that, and people will be seeing what's going on down there, and so will I. Was my friend's girlfriend murdered? because he was black and he was my friend. Possibly Mario. You Mexicans are family oriented. Oh, we can't say Mexicans? Okay, yep, you will disregard that. Okay, but anyway, Mario, they tore his leg out, and he was my friend, and we had plans to walk to the bars for the next couple of years. And yeah, I know first and last name of one of them that tore his leg out. And I'll be looking into the other one. There are a lot of leads that I ended up getting. I think they're either 4 or 5 to begin with on this. And Mario needs justice. They stole his life savings. He woke up on an operating table owing an anesthesiologist another $800 and no operation. They tore his leg out. And he could sit here and move his lower leg more than 1/8 of an inch off his kneecap, and very disturbing. And he needs justice, we all do. And bringing it out and then multiply it worldwide as I explore organized crime in Maricopa County and Gila County, and there'll be others, but Fremont County in Colorado suddenly became Joe Arpaio was the sheriff, and Alan Cooper became one of the under-sheriffs. And I investigated, so I can tell you that that's what occurred. That's what the investigation result was. And we're going to look this over, and you're going to see a lot of it. Yeah, you want to hear that one? Yeah, the song I just played was a D and an A. And here's a D minor. Gives you quite a different sound just moving one note. A, and then you got an A7. But playing the guitar is the easiest one. I tried to play a trumpet. I have a relative, so I got a trumpet and got one tooth missing here. I had 5 abscess teeth once I got out of prison, apparently from getting off of risperidone. And while I was on it, I didn't have that, but got out, got off of it, and that's when I had the problems. 5 abscess teeth, and but you can't apparently blow a trumpet. I'll have to put some tape across it and try to blow a trumpet, but the guitar is proven to be the one fun toy. The harmonica's a really pain in the ass. Screechy sound, the banjo. Why did God make the banjo so heavy? Well, because it belongs in the bottom of the goddamn ocean. And I was going to make, thought of, you know, I'm an inventor, I thought of making banjo anchors. The bigger the boat, the bigger the banjo, and heave it over. But the guitar is a fun toy. You might as well get a good guitar or you'll get discouraged very quickly, because the bad guitar sounds bad. You heard my little one on the number 36 video. This, no matter what you do, yeah, it still sounds good. My fingers, I can't hold the pick because of the risperidone and things about it. I'm catching the wrong strings, fine. I'll still play, and I'm getting better at getting back to being healthier and not too healthy. But play a guitar, get a good one. This thing has an aluminum woofer in it, powered by the vibration of these strings. And the harder you hit it, the better it sounds, and it's fun. And I asked a friend of mine, I said, how can I possibly sound any better? And he says, oh, you gotta sing with feelings. Oh, Barbara Mandrell sings with feeling. I says, who's Barbara Mandrell? And he says, oh, she's the best musician he's ever heard. So I said, Barbara Mandrell sounds terrible. I said, she doesn't know what she's doing. That she's dropped more banjos on the floor and damaged them than ever made any one sound good. And oh no. And he says, oh, she's purty. He's from Alabama, and he's gazing up at the ceiling and like he's seeing God and the fictitious God, and no one cares if it's fictitious. Isn't that ever crossed your mind? But yeah, I said, oh, Barbara Mandrell looks terrible. He says, no. And yeah, you could tell it was him that was having the feelings. I don't think Barbara Mandrell's playing with feelings. I don't know who it is, but yeah, he was the one having feelings there. No, and then he says, oh, she's getting old now, and I have flashbacks of Emma Peel, and that was terrible. So I said, no, what do you really do to make that I can sound better? I said, should I practice more? And he says, no. He says, you gotta sing with feelings. And he's gazing off the ceiling. And I says, well, good, because I don't want to practice. And all of you guys should think about that. Do what you want to do and enjoy other people that are good at other things. If you don't want to practice, don't throw your life away. Do it when you want to. Because I am 60 and life is still going on. These women, God, the Botox. I did body work for 10 years. The Botox might be an idea to drill a small hole, stick a needle in, and pump Botox in the auto body and get swell up in there and get it to pop back out instead of putting a bunch of little holes in the body and having to smear putty over it and all that. Maybe the two guys, they got their ideas from auto body and painting with their spray gun and their base coat and the top clear coat and whatever. And the auto body people ought to take a little bit from that Botox concept, inject them, and then they swell way up, the giant lips, oh, this over here and this one's not, and the one's drooping, one's up here, and the Joker concept. Yeah, I might work on the car body, but yeah, you wanna hear? Yeah, all right, yeah. You guys remember the words to it? I'll just follow your lead there. Yeah, this is another one, Jambalaya. Just 2 chords. The other one I could probably use 3 chords, but it doesn't sound as good. So I just feel left out a chord. It sounds bad with the other chord in it. You're going off singing something you don't really want. But, goodbye, Joe, me gotta go, me oh my oh. Me gotta go, pull down my oh. My mom's the sweetest one of them all. Son of a gun, I'll have fun on my own. Yeah, I'll let you guys get guitars and get one that sounds good, because you'll be discouraged otherwise. Like that little one I played on video number 36. But I encourage all of you to watch my videos. It has a pound sign. Some of you might call it a hashtag, but I don't. The pound sign or the number sign, anything you want to say, that little tic-tac-toe board. Number 39 is a good one. It's a 7.5 minute, and I play a little bit of guitar music that has nothing to do with psychology. Yeah, it does, and tells a little bit about what I do. But number 39, Real Psychology. Try it without the dot after psychology and see what happens if number 39, Real Psychology, Gary York. If you can't get it up on YouTube, try the dot. And subscribe. And I'm here to teach all of you. I've got a good world ahead for all of you. And to teach you to take in all your information. The concept that words become your physical history, your passion in your body is wrong. And you got to stop being done by words. And then the mouth throws open automatically. And you start looking at women's liberation and realize what else that TV has done. Give us an opposite on the commercials. Yeah, you want to have a law, you have to have an opposite also. You got William Shatner, your pay money, Medicare Part C. Yeah, get out of my wallet, you filthy celebrity. Yeah, have a little disclaimer. This might be disturbing to some viewers, and if it can't be played on certain times of the day or certain channels, then so be it. But give us an opposite so we can decide, because when you only have one over and over and over again, you can't make a decision. You can't decide for yourselves. So I'm asking you to decide. Have him shove the zip code up his ass and going home.
Gary.
Yes.
Come down and have lunch, and let's go out for a ride or something.
Oh, okay.
Well, come on.
So anyway, class, you've been very good, and you're all still awake, and yeah, give up that idea. Yeah, you can always do that later, but you're not going to want to. Make a better girl. And black and white is not the same thing. Your government has lied to you. And enjoy your world and learn opposites. Yeah, let's do the commercials. Look at those whodunit murder videos and see them in a different way, just like I see through these glasses in a different manner than anyone else. The little woman talking condescending, demoralizing dialogue up to the big man in the kitchen. They show a camera shot of the cookie in his hand. He never does eat the cookie. No, he's got to Worship Colonial Penn Life Insurance, $9.95 a month instead. Then put on the black screen and the disclaimer, this might be disturbing for some viewers. Now these things are shown on TV, so it is okay, the concept of it. It's acting, it's not really happening, it's acting. But it gives you a contrast. Have him looking down at her, punch that face. But acting, it's not real. And chomping that cookie, and the wall is a little spatter of blood on it. Why not? We see this on TV all the time. Just put a disclaimer on it. If it can't play before 10 at night, so be it. We don't need to see these thieves giving you no choice but to worship, 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 pay them money. Get out of my wallet, you thieves. But have them take the whole cookie dish, and you see him getting a little taller all of a sudden. He's standing on something and kind of moving his feet around a little bit like that, cracking open a beer with a smirk on his face and walking around to go sit down and watch the TV with a smirk on his face. And it gives you a contrast. It allows you to think for the very first time. You've never tried it before, it's a lot of fun. And start asking your commercials, your TV is very large. Look at it and change it. Get me on there. Enjoy. I'm Gary York. Enjoy. I'm not the second coming, but apparently a relative of Jesus and Lucifer. Enjoy.